Hi, everyone. It's Colleen Meyer, and we have with you an amazing author, um, Alynne McFaye, and she has already read two amazing chapters of her book, The Rise of the Shadow King, which is the first book of her series, The Immortal Guardians. You guys have to get this book. It's amazing. If you love young adult fantasy novels, this is the book for you and the series for you. So today we're going to be reading chapter 3. So do you want to tell us a little bit about, go ahead and give us a recap of the first two chapters. Let's talk about the book as a whole. So we want them to purchase it and get it on Amazon and Lulu.com, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so go ahead and tell us a little bit about the book again. Just give us a quick synopsis. And then also let's talk about leading into chapter 3, and then we'll pick up and read chapter 3. So go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Well, in the first two chapters of the Immortal Guardians, Rise of the Shadow King, we learn about Jessalyn's backstory a little. We introduced to her character. We're introduced to her grandmother. And in the beginning, she seems ordinary, like an ordinary 16-year-old about to turn 17. And it's about in the cusp of her 17th birthday. And basically, in chapter 1, she goes to high school and everything. Everything's normal, but then on the train, she meets this weird guy, and she knows he is, and we delve into that. And then later, when she goes home, her grandmother, she gives her a gift because, like I said, it's on the cusp of her 17th birthday, and she's told never to take the necklace off. So the necklace is like this central part of the story of chapters 1 and 2, and the rest of the story as well. And in chapter 2, that's when the weird stuff starts getting a little crazy, like when she's in school and she starts seeing this weird stuff going on. Like she's like, why am I seeing this? Am I the only one seeing this? What's going on? It's stressful midterms, but there's much more going on that the readers it will be revealed to the readers much later as we delve more into the story. So that's basically the synopsis of chapter 1 and chapter 2. She has a birthday, there's a necklace, and then there's this weird stuff going on once she gets the necklace. So that's what's going on in those chapters.
Yeah, you got a little bit of technical difficulties, I think, on your end. But you know what? Just a little bit. So what we can do is, I think if we, when you go to read, if we slow it, I think it'll help with the internet connection. If you read a little slower, I think they're going to help because it's a great story. You and I had both. You read the first two chapters and they were amazing, and we really want to hear chapter 3 of your book, The Rise of the Shadow King. So you want to go ahead and get started? I can't wait to pick up where we left off. All right, go ahead. The floor is all yours.
All right, everyone, I will be reading chapter 3 from the Immortal Guardians, Rise of the Shadow King today. Chapter 3, the story of the fallen king. What do you mean? She fainted? Nana said when Jessalyn entered the apartments. She was apparently on the phone with Mr. Donovan. Well, she's home now. Okay, thanks. We will. Bye now. Jessalyn slammed the door noisily just to get her attention. Nana turned quickly around as he hung up. Oh, Jess, thank God. Hi, Nana, was all Jessalyn could manage. Nana approached her and embraced her. You haven't seen them again, haven't you? It's happening all over again, she said with exasperation. She released Jessalyn. She tossed her knapsack in one corner and turned to face her grandmother. What do you mean, again? How do you know? I know, Jessalyn. You have been seeing them since you were 4. Nana, Jessalyn said, moving closer to her on the sofa. What? What are you talking about? The demons. The race of Imans. Demonkind. Jess, I don't know where to begin. Your mother wanted to shelter you from that world. Let's sit down and I will tell you everything you need to know. Nana sat down and waited for Jessalyn. Pulled up a chair and sat down. There are otherworldly things, creatures, some good, some mostly evil. They can walk the earth like people or animals, only they are not human. Spirits and jinns they are. There are only a select few who can see these monsters. Your mother was one of them who could see them. But I don't believe, Jessalyn said, but Nana cut her off. Listen, they are real and they have been around for a very long time. But I don't understand. What are they? And what do they want with me? Jessalyn inquired. Well, first they are demons. And second, they want what they lack, purity and your blood. My blood? Let me explain. There was this evil man, terrible man, who was once a king. We healers know of his name to be Theron. He did terrible things, pillaging, capturing, and killing people, even experimenting on them, men, women, and children even. He believed that by killing them and consuming their blood, that he could gain their lifespan. As a result of his experiments, people died, and the demons you now see, they rose, taking over their bodies to walk the earth like mortals. Centurions are considered immortal, so they don't die as easily as mortals. When they die, they either become demons as a result of too much dark magic or an experiment gone awry, or they become angelic beings like your mother. As for Theron, there were those who opposed him. The Immortal Guardians, the Centurions, immortals who age but remain young in appearance. But why do I see them? Because you are gifted, like your mother, like me. That's why I gave you that pendant you now wear around your neck. Doesn't it glow when danger is near? And the dreams. Haven't you had any weird dreams? Oh, it all fits now, Jessalyn said. But why is this happening to me now? Jessalyn asked her. Nana turned around. Because your warrior sight has finally developed. Though I wanted to wait until you were ready and trained properly. The demons and other monsters that walk this earth won't wait until you're ready. They would kill you if they could. But it's only a story, isn't it? I thought I was normal, like everyone at school, Jessalyn protested. You have abilities you scarcely can imagine, Jess. It's up to you to accept them, Nana replied. But, Nana, why are you telling me all this now? Why didn't you tell me before? Because you are ready now, and your abilities are getting stronger by the day. So are the demons, Nana Josephine replied. As she got up, she said, I have to go to the shop today. Do you want me to cook anything for you before I leave for work? No, thanks, Nana, Jessalyn said. Okay, I shall see you later, Jess. Don't forget to clean up your room and brush your teeth before you go to bed, Nana said. Grandma, come on. Why would I forget something as simple as that? Jessalyn protested. You have my work number. If anything happens, anything at all, if you see anything strange at all, make sure you call me immediately, Josephine said. Okay, Jessalyn said. As her grandmother left to get ready for work, Jessalyn sat there, lost in thought. She picked up her knapsack and retreated to her bedroom, shutting the door behind her. What a load of crap. I am ordinary, like Zed, like everyone else in the world, Jessalyn thought to herself. She dropped the knapsack in one corner before she threw herself across her bed, curling up into a warm ball, waiting for sleep to come. Meanwhile, on the rooftop of the apartment, the same tall, very handsome, dark blonde-haired boy stood at the edge, keeping watch while testing the sharpness of his blade. Shadows and light playing across his fine, slightly angular face. His blue-gray eyes scanned the skies for any sign of movement. His ears picked up the distant sound of conversation from the adjoining buildings. Other figures appeared at his side. Another young man with dark brown hair and a young Asian-looking girl with slanted eyes and jet black hair with thin white streaks. They also stood watch as well, weapons drawn. And that concludes the reading of chapter 3 of the Immortal Guardians, Rise of the Shadow King.
I loved it, loved it, loved it. Now, I think I think you're correct. This whole thing is picking up and moving now. So the adventure began. Chapter 1 was kind of like an introduction, right? And then we're introduced to the characters, and we know that something's happening. We know that she finds out that she's special, and then in chapter 2 things start really moving along, and so chapter 3 the action starting. So I love the book, and let's talk a little bit. I know we talked about this before, but let's also talk a little bit about when you decided to write this book. I know that you have a degree in English literature, and you have been writing poems, and you've been writing poems and stories, and your genre is young adult fantasy and horror. You like to write a little horror, and you're working on screenplays and stuff like that. But let's talk about your character development, because I know we talked about this when we were talking in chapter 1, but I want to touch base a little bit about it, because somebody might be coming in chapter 3 and then they have to go back and look for the other 2 chapters that you read. So let's talk a little bit about the character development, how you came up with the characters, and how also you what drew you to this type of story. How did you create this arc, the story arc that the whole Immortal Guardian series, because this is book 1, Rise of the Shadow King. So how did you create that? Can you explain that to our viewers?
Sure. Well, we all know Jessalyn is our favorite girl next door. She's a little bit based loosely on when I was 16. Like, if I would add supernatural elements to my life and how I would react if I was in Jessalyn's shoes. And the boy on the train, from chapter 1, that we reintroduced to him again in 2, and at the end of chapter 3, he's on the rooftop just watching, keeping watch. We don't know why. I don't want to give any spoilers yet, but something's definitely coming. Basically, the character arc is after Jessalyn finds out little by little, as she dig deeper, that she isn't who she really is, and then weird things going on around her. The other characters, well, when they gradually get introduced, how can I put it? Basically, they know what's going on. She's kind of not in the dark, but sort of in the dark. So as we introduce the characters, they kind of guide Jessalyn on her way. They kind of dig deeper into her character. And when they're introduced, basically, as the story gets deeper, we finally know what's going on and why she's seeing the things she's seeing it gradually, and why what's going on is happening, and why her grandmother, who's a very lovely woman, is still mysterious, but she doesn't want to scare Jessalyn. So that's why in the beginning she's kind of ominous, like with the "don't take the necklace off" warning. So
I love that.
If
let me ask you a quick.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry. There's a delay. I wanted to talk to you because you mentioned something to me right now, and I have a question.
Sure.
Now, the grandmother, I like the grandmother's character. Okay, like you said, there is that ominous, and but she's obviously, she keeps secrets, so because you got to let people know when the time is right.
Right.
Let's talk about that character, Grandma,
Sure.
or Nana. How did you develop that character? Is that your Nana, like, or how did you create this? I mean, who is this person? Because we draw from that, right?
Yeah.
Who is that person?
Actually, Nana Josephine, I guess it's probably based on my great grandmother. Sadly, she passed away. God bless her heart. And she was basically my caretaker from my early years of life. I wasn't raised by my mom. She was in my life, but I wasn't raised by her. But my great grandmother had a big influence on my life. Like, she taught me how to be kind to people and how to read and write. In fact, she enrolled me in my first preschool. And she's a very nice, lovely lady. It was hard to get her angry. She'd laugh if you joke with her. She was very blunt, but she had a really good sense of humor. And she kind of was the defining, shaping force in my life. And I kind of based Lana Josephine on her because, like I said, my great-grandma, she loved to sew. In fact, the first dress I've owned, my great-grandmother made it. And I think that's what Nana Josephine probably is based on, like her character and mannerisms, her sense of humor. And my great-grandmother also, she wanted to tell you a truth that would scare you a little bit. She's not going to like blurt it out. She'll let you know slowly, like a teaser, you could say. So she was kind of like Nana Josephine in that way, and definitely the bond that Jesselyn has with Nana Josephine. I had that bond with my great grandmother, basically.
That's because I feel like when you're reading this book and we're going over these first 3 chapters, I felt like this person I could connect to this person. So I felt like this person had some kind of, you got that person lived in your life, and that you transformed her or reincarnated her into, so to speak, into this character. So I think that's amazing. So, so tell us where book 2 is. I know we talked about that last time. We're looking for book 2 to come out. Let's review book 2, and then let's talk about the whole series. Okay. And let's talk about the whole series as a whole. So let's talk about book 2. Tell us where it's at and when we can expect book 2 to come out, because I want to do some readings. We're not going to read the whole Rise of the Shadow King live. Because that's your product, and you're putting it out there for people, and you want people to buy it and have it and be able to reread it. I know a lot of people that reread books that they love, right? Mm-hmm. I've done that myself many times, so we want to make sure to have it. So let's talk about book 2, the title, kind of where it picks up, and let's talk about where you are in your whole series. Go ahead.
Sure. Book 2 is, it's the Immortal Guardians book 2, The Dark Mist. And
I love that name. I love that name.
And basically, The Dark Mist, it has something to do with the villains in that book. Without giving too much away, basically, how can I put the characters? They face off against a new threat. It's a new villain. Totally different from Therian. Without giving too much away, the villains, they have in part, more or less, the Dark Mist is a central part of the story, which also introduces new villains. And basically, Jesselyn, well, by then, maybe her abilities have grown. Maybe she learns to fight. Maybe she can definitely see these evil, shadowy creatures. But maybe in part 2, where we pick off, that's where she's probably going to be in training and stuff. Maybe a little bit more of that, a little bit more action. But definitely a new threat, definitely.
So, and then when is this book? What is book 2 coming out? Roughly, I know. Sometimes we have a tentative date. Roughly, right? Roughly.
I have a projection date of at least towards the middle to end of June. Around that time, around June 20th, at least.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so then and then book 3 will be coming out, and I think that the whole series, there's going to be 4 books in the series, possibly 5.
Possibly 5.
And and each book takes the characters through this journey. I guess I look at it as good versus evil, and it's going to be exciting. Now, we have your website up, obviously, right there.
Yeah.
And so if people can get a hold of you, if they want to talk, get a hold of you. When they go on your website, is there a way for them to say, make a comment or contact? Is there a contact page on your website?
Yeah, they have a contact me page, definitely, if they want to leave comments or questions, or if they're curious about if I'm going to continue the series or anything like that, or even if they want snippets, there's a way they can contact me. Definitely. My main email, it was alynnemcfaye@gmail.com, but I recently changed it to my non-author name, iolantesimons@gmail.com. That's when they can contact me direct. Definitely. And leave comments.
Okay. And your book is available now on Amazon, on Lulu Books, right? And then Goodreads, right?
Goodreads and Google Books.
So again, it's book 1 of the Immortal series. And it is book 1, The Rise of the Shadow King. You guys, you got to get this book. If you haven't got a chance to listen, we had a little technical difficulties today. Just a little bit. But if you really want to listen to book 1, chapter 1 and chapter 2 of The Rise of the Shadow King, she's done some readings. They're going to be YouTube. On YouTube, we're going to, you can look at them on my Facebook page, Fearless and Pinkwoods, which we're streaming live on here also. because we want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to read this book, because this is one of the reasons too. This is a strong female character book that has a strong female character, right?
Yes.
And she is definitely fearless. And this is going to be a great book, you guys. So if you love fantasy, adult fantasy novels, if you like that genre, even if you usually say that's not usually I don't usually read those books, you guys got to give this one an opportunity and a chance, because I've read The Rise of the Shadow King, and it is amazing. You have to read this book. It's going to take you away from your daily lives. It's going to take you away from the stresses and the pressures and the kids and the husbands or school or whatever it is. And it's going to take you to this place, and you're going to have fun being there, and you're going to fall in love with these characters. So we want to thank you for being on, and we will be back, obviously, because she's got other things that we're going to talk about. But thank you for being on, and we'll get back with you guys soon. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.